The morning air at Fort Brazen carried the familiar scent of diesel fuel and determination as Lieutenant Commander Maya Blackstone adjusted her standard-issue fatigues. No rank insignia marked her shoulders. No special patches distinguished her uniform from the dozens of other personnel moving through the facility gates. She blended seamlessly into the flow of mid-level staff reporting for another day of joint training operations. Maya's practiced eyes swept the compound layout, automatically cataloging tactical positions and security vulnerabilities while maintaining the casual demeanor of someone simply getting oriented. The facility bustled with the controlled chaos of military efficiency, soldiers from multiple branches coordinating exercises that would prepare them for overseas deployments. Staff Sergeant Rico Valdez noticed the unfamiliar face during the morning briefing in Building C. Maya had positioned herself in the back row among other visiting personnel and liaisons, her notepad open, pen ready. Captain Torres droned through the daily schedule while Maya observed the room dynamics, noting which personnel showed engagement and which had already checked out mentally. Valdez caught himself stealing glances at the newcomer. Something about her bearing suggested more experience than her apparent rank indicated, though he couldn't pinpoint exactly what triggered that instinct. She took notes with the precision of someone accustomed to detailed reporting, her posture straight but not rigid. The briefing covered standard protocols for the week's training exercises. Maya listened carefully as Torres outlined safety procedures that immediately struck her as inadequate for the advanced maneuvers being planned. She made several discreet notations, but resisted the urge to voice concerns that would draw unwanted attention. When Torres dismissed the group, Maya followed the general movement toward the training areas. The morning sun climbed higher as she observed the first exercise, a rappelling drill that had Army Rangers working alongside Marine reconnaissance units. Her experienced eye immediately identified 3 safety violations in the rigging setup. Maya positioned herself where she could monitor the entire operation while appearing to simply watch from the designated observation area. When a sergeant called for volunteers to assist with equipment management, she stepped forward along with several others, maintaining her cover as helpful available personnel. The exercise proceeded smoothly despite the safety concerns Maya had noted. She resisted every instinct to intervene, reminding herself that her mission required patience and careful observation. Her role was to assess, not to immediately correct every deficiency she encountered. During the lunch break, Maya made her way to the base cafeteria where the real intelligence gathering would begin. She selected a table with junior personnel rather than seeking out the officers' section, settling in with her tray among privates and corporals who spoke more freely about their experiences. The conversation flowed around complaints about outdated equipment and questions about the effectiveness of current training methods. Maya listened while contributing just enough to avoid standing out, occasionally asking follow-up questions that encouraged others to share more detailed observations about facility operations. Private Chen mentioned frustrations with the communication systems during multi-unit exercises, describing breakdowns that Maya recognized as symptoms of inadequate cross-training protocols. Corporal Williams shared concerns about medical response times during training accidents, information that aligned with Maya's preliminary assessment of facility readiness gaps. Maya absorbed every detail while projecting the image of someone simply making conversation with new colleagues. Her questions appeared casual, but were designed to elicit specific information about command structure effectiveness and resource allocation patterns. Captain Torres appeared at her table during the tail end of lunch. Maya Blackstone, correct? I have you down for equipment inventory duty this afternoon. Report to Supply Building D at 1300 hours. Maya nodded respectfully, accepting the assignment without question. Yes, sir, I'll be there promptly. Torres moved on to other tables, and Maya finished her meal while processing this development. Being assigned basic inventory duty was perfect cover for examining the facility's resource management and security protocols. The afternoon heat intensified as Maya reported to Supply Building D, where Sergeant First Class Park handed her a clipboard and explained the inventory process. Maya worked methodically through the equipment lists, using her legitimate access to evaluate everything from standard issue gear to specialized training equipment. Her trained eye noted discrepancies that suggested either poor record-keeping or potential security concerns. Several items marked as present were clearly outdated beyond their recommended service life. Other equipment showed where patterns inconsistent with reported usage levels. Maya documented everything with the thoroughness expected of someone taking the assignment seriously, while mentally compiling a comprehensive assessment that went far beyond basic inventory concerns. Each observation added to her understanding of how effectively the facility could support the classified joint operations she was secretly evaluating. The workday concluded with Maya having gathered substantial intelligence while maintaining perfect operational security. She had successfully integrated into the facility routine, established casual relationships with key personnel, and begun her assessment without raising any suspicions about her true purpose or authority level. Evening brought Maya to her assigned quarters in the visiting personnel barracks. Once alone and certain of privacy, she activated her encrypted communication device and accessed the classified mission parameters that revealed the scope of her actual assignment. Lieutenant Commander Maya Blackstone held security clearances that exceeded those of most personnel at Fort Brazen, including several officers who had given her orders throughout the day. Her mission involved assessing facility readiness for joint SL Army operations that would require the highest levels of tactical coordination and operational security. Maya reviewed her preliminary findings while updating her mission log. The facility showed potential but required significant improvements in safety protocols, communication systems, and cross-training procedures before it could support the advanced operations under consideration. Her cover had held perfectly through the first day, but Maya knew that maintaining operational security would become more challenging as her assessment deepened. The coming days would require careful balance between gathering necessary intelligence and avoiding exposure that could compromise both her mission and her safety. Tomorrow would bring new opportunities to evaluate facility capabilities while continuing to project the image of a mid-level liaison conducting routine business. Maya secured her classified materials and prepared for another day of invisible evaluation in plain sight. Dawn brought scattered clouds across Fort Brazen as Maya arrived at the Advanced Training Complex, where today's exercises would test multi-unit coordination under combat conditions. She positioned herself at the designated observation area while Army Rangers and Marine reconnaissance specialists prepared for rappelling drills from a 40-foot training tower. Maya's experienced eye immediately identified problems with the safety rigging. The primary anchor points showed stress fractures that could fail under dynamic loading, and the backup safety systems had been configured incorrectly according to current military standards. She made discreet notes while watching the setup crew complete their preparations. Staff Sergeant Valdez approached the observation area during the pre-exercise briefing, settling beside Maya with the casual familiarity of someone who had noticed her attentiveness the previous day. "Morning, Blackstone. You seem pretty interested in the technical details for someone doing inventory duty." Maya maintained her cover while engaging in the friendly conversation. "Just trying to understand how everything fits together. Cross-training opportunities don't come around often, so I figure I should pay attention while I'm here." The exercise commenced with the first wave of soldiers beginning their descent. Maya watched the rope systems carefully, noting the subtle signs of stress that the safety crew had missed during their inspection. The anchor points flexed more than they should under the current load distribution. Valdez continued their conversation while observing the exercise. "You seem to know what you're looking for up there. Most liaison personnel just watch and take notes about general procedures, but you're tracking specific technical elements." Maya deflected the observation with practiced ease. Previous assignment involved some coordination with training facilities. You pick up a few things when you're around this kind of operation long enough. The third soldier in the second wave was halfway down when Maya heard the distinctive sound of metal fatigue that preceded equipment failure. The primary anchor point began separating from its mounting just as Private Martinez reached the critical stress point in his descent. Maya moved before conscious thought could interfere with trained instincts. She grabbed the emergency brake line and activated the backup belay system while shouting commands that brought the entire exercise to an immediate halt. Martinez dropped only 3 feet before the backup system caught him, but the primary anchor point failed completely seconds later. The observation area erupted in controlled chaos as safety personnel responded to the equipment failure. Maya had already reached Martinez's position and was conducting a rapid trauma assessment, her hands moving with the precision of someone who had performed battlefield medical evaluations countless times. Valdez watched in amazement as Maya directed the medical response with quiet authority that cut through the confusion around them. She identified a probable concussion and potential cervical strain while coordinating Martinez's careful extraction from the training harness. Check his pupils for dilation, Maya instructed the arriving medic. Possible head trauma from the sudden deceleration. Keep his neck stabilized until we can rule out cervical injury. The medic followed her directions without question, recognizing competence when he encountered it. Maya stepped back as the medical team took over, but Valdez had observed enough to know that her response went far beyond basic first aid training. For a desk jockey, you sure know your stuff, Lieutenant. What's your rank anyway? Most people would have frozen up or gotten in the way. Maya deflected with humor while maintaining operational security. High enough to know better, low enough to do better. Just happened to be in the right place with the right training when someone needed help. The medical team stabilized Martinez for transport to the base hospital while Captain Torres arrived to investigate the equipment failure. Maya provided a technical briefing about the anchor point failure that demonstrated detailed knowledge of rappelling safety systems and stress load calculations. Torres questioned Maya about her background after witnessing her immediate competence during the crisis. Your response was exceptionally professional, Blackstone. What kind of cross-training experience gives someone that level of medical and technical knowledge? Maya provided her carefully prepared cover story. Previous assignments involved coordination between medical and training facilities. You tend to pick up emergency response procedures when you're around enough training accidents and field exercises. Torres accepted the explanation but made mental notes about Maya's demonstrated capabilities that exceeded her apparent rank and assignment. The investigation into the equipment failure would require detailed technical analysis, and Maya's immediate assessment had probably prevented serious injuries. Valdez remained curious as the immediate crisis concluded and normal training operations resumed with backup equipment. He shared his observations with other personnel during the afternoon break, beginning speculation about Maya's true background and experience level. Private Chin mentioned that Maya had asked unusually sophisticated questions about communication protocols during their cafeteria conversation. Corporal Williams noted that her inventory work had been far more thorough than typical liaison personnel usually performed. Sergeant First Class Park confirmed that Maya's equipment evaluations had identified several maintenance issues that had been overlooked by regular inspections. Her attention to detail suggested experience with military hardware that went beyond basic familiarity. The afternoon training exercises proceeded with enhanced safety protocols while Maya continued her covert assessment of facility operations. She noted that the response to the equipment failure had been professional but revealed gaps in emergency coordination between different military branches. Maya documented the incident as part of her classified mission while maintaining her cover among personnel who were beginning to notice inconsistencies between her apparent role and her demonstrated expertise. Valdez's casual joke had triggered observations that threatened her operational security. Evening brought Maya back to her quarters where she updated her mission assessment with the day's intelligence. The equipment failure had forced her to reveal capabilities that might compromise her cover, but the incident had also provided valuable insight into facility emergency response procedures. She noted that several personnel, particularly Valdez, had begun asking questions about her background and experience level. Maintaining operational security would require careful management of their growing curiosity while continuing to gather the intelligence necessary for her mission assessment. Maya secured her classified materials while considering how to balance mission requirements with the need to avoid exposure. Tomorrow would bring new challenges as word spread about her competent response to the training accident. The personnel office hummed with morning activity as Staff Sergeant Valdez approached the duty desk with a routine request that felt anything but routine. He needed basic information about Lieutenant M. Blackstone, ostensibly for updating training rosters, but actually to satisfy curiosity that had grown since yesterday's equipment incident. Corporal Hayes pulled up the standard personnel database and frowned at the limited results. Strange, we have basic assignment information, but most of her file shows restricted access. Education background, previous assignments, specialized training, all marked confidential above my clearance level. Valdez studied the sparse information on Hayes' screen. Why would a liaison officer conducting inventory work have restricted personnel records? Even his own file showed standard details about training schools, deployment history, and performance evaluations. Meanwhile, Maya moved through Building F, conducting her advanced tactical assessment of facility security protocols. She identified 15 critical vulnerabilities in the perimeter defense systems, noting blind spots in surveillance coverage and weaknesses in access control procedures that could compromise classified operations. Her practiced eye cataloged inefficiencies in guard rotation schedules and communication gaps between security checkpoints. Maya documented each observation with the precision of someone who understood how small tactical oversights could escalate into operational disasters. Lieutenant Johnson observed Maya during the morning weapons qualification exercise, where personnel from multiple units demonstrated proficiency with standard-issue firearms. Maya approached the firing line with the casual confidence of someone comfortable around weapons, but her performance revealed training that exceeded basic military requirements. Her shooting stance incorporated subtle modifications that Johnson recognized from advanced marksmanship schools. Maya's target groups clustered with the precision of someone who had received specialized weapons training, yet her personnel file suggested no background that would account for such expertise. Johnson made discreet inquiries about Maya's assignment while observing her demonstration of combat scenarios that required rapid target acquisition and tactical decision-making. Her responses showed familiarity with engagement protocols that weren't covered in standard military training curricula. Valdez contacted his friend at the main personnel office, hoping to learn more about Maya's background through informal channels. Sergeant Murphy had access to expanded personnel records and owed Valdez favors from their previous assignment together. Murphy's investigation revealed even more restricted markers than the basic database search. This is unusual, Rico. Her file requires special authorization to access detailed information. I can see assignment dates, but nothing about her actual duties or training background. That level of restriction usually indicates intelligence work or special operations assignments. Maya positioned herself near the classified briefing room, where she could observe security protocols for handling sensitive information. Through the security window, she recognized intelligence assessments about regional threat patterns that she had personally updated during her last Pentagon assignment. The briefing materials contained outdated information about terrorist cell activities in 3 different sectors, data that Maya knew had been superseded by more recent intelligence reports. She noted the facility's lag in receiving current threat assessments, a deficiency that could affect operational planning for joint missions. Captain Torres noticed Maya's familiarity with classified facility layouts during the afternoon security drill. She navigated restricted corridors with the confidence of someone who had studied building schematics, yet her assignment shouldn't have provided access to detailed facility maps. Torres observed Maya's automatic recognition of emergency procedures and evacuation routes that weren't covered in standard visitor orientations. Her movements suggested prior knowledge of security protocols that exceeded what visiting personnel typically received. Computer technician Rodriguez attempted a comprehensive database search on Maya's background, hoping to satisfy his own curiosity about the competent stranger who had managed yesterday's medical crisis with unusual expertise. His search immediately triggered multiple security firewalls that blocked access to her detailed records. The security system logged Rodriguez's inquiry and generated automatic notifications about unauthorized attempts to access classified personnel information. Rodriguez backed away from his computer, realizing he had encountered security measures typically reserved for protecting special operations personnel. Maya participated in the routine security drill that tested personnel responses to simulated interrogation scenarios. Her performance during the resistance training exercise demonstrated techniques that exceeded standard military instruction, suggesting advanced survival school training. She employed sophisticated psychological countermeasures during the simulated interrogation, maintaining operational security while providing acceptable responses that satisfied drill requirements. Maya's resistance techniques impressed the training sergeants who administered the exercise. Late afternoon brought unexpected activity to the facility as General Morrison's convoy arrived for an unscheduled inspection tour. Maya observed the four-star general's entourage from her position in the training complex, noting the accompanying staff officers who suggested this was more than a routine visit. Maya received an encrypted communication through her secure device, informing her that Morrison's arrival had accelerated her mission timeline. Intelligence indicated that Morrison would be evaluating facility readiness for classified operations that directly related to Maya's assessment objectives. Her mission parameters shifted to accommodate the new circumstances. Maya would need to maintain operational security while positioning herself to observe Morrison's inspection process, gathering intelligence about how facility leadership responded to high-level scrutiny. Valdez shared his growing suspicions with other personnel who had observed Maya's exceptional competence during various training activities. Private Chun confirmed that Maya's questions about communication protocols had revealed sophisticated understanding of military information systems. Corporal Williams mentioned that Maya's medical response during yesterday's incident had demonstrated training that exceeded basic first aid requirements. Sergeant Park noted that her equipment evaluations had identified maintenance issues that regular inspections had missed. The accumulating observations painted a picture of someone whose actual background differed significantly from her apparent assignment. Multiple personnel began reaching out to their own contacts in different branches, hoping to learn more about Maya's true identity and purpose at Fort Brazen. Rodriguez cautiously mentioned his encounter with restricted database access to Sergeant First Class Martinez, who suggested that such security measures typically protected personnel involved in classified operations or special missions assignments. Maya concluded her afternoon assessment activities while monitoring the increased attention her presence was generating among facility personnel. She recognized that her operational security was becoming compromised through the accumulation of observations about her exceptional capabilities. Evening brought Maya to her secure quarters where she updated her mission assessment with intelligence gathered about facility readiness and security protocols. She also documented the growing curiosity among personnel who were beginning to question her true identity and assignment. Morrison's unexpected arrival had created new operational challenges while providing opportunities to evaluate facility response to high-level oversight. Maya prepared for tomorrow's activities knowing that maintaining her cover would require careful balance between mission requirements and operational security. The investigation threads initiated by curious personnel were converging toward conclusions that could expose her true identity and mission. Maya secured her classified materials while considering how to manage the evolving situation without compromising her assessment objectives. General Morrison's inspection team arrived at Fort Brazen with the methodical precision that marked high-stakes military evaluations. 3 accompanying generals flanked Morrison as they began comprehensive facility assessment, their presence transforming routine operations into carefully scrutinized demonstrations of readiness and competence. Maya received urgent classified communication through her encrypted device while observing the inspection team's initial movements. Her new directive required maintaining operational cover while providing assessment if directly questioned by Morrison, a delicate balance that could expose her mission if mishandled. Staff Sergeant Valdez approached Maya during the morning equipment review, his expression serious with accumulated suspicions. "I've been thinking about yesterday's conversation, and your background story doesn't add up. Multiple sources confirm your personnel file has restrictions that protect special operations assignments, not liaison work." Maya maintained her cover story while recognizing that direct confrontation required careful handling. Personnel files often contain administrative restrictions that don't reflect actual assignment details. Cross-training programs can involve security clearances that seem inconsistent with current duties. Security Chief Kowalski initiated advanced background verification on Maya using his elevated access permissions, hoping to resolve questions that had reached his attention through multiple channels. His search immediately encountered security barriers requiring Joint Chiefs authorization, confirmation that Maya's actual status exceeded anything her apparent assignment suggested. Morrison began evaluating the same tactical deficiencies that Maya had identified during her covert assessment. The general questioned facility leadership about inadequate safety protocols and communication system failures, with sharp criticism that revealed his own advanced understanding of operational requirements. Maya found herself in position to overhear Morrison's technical analysis during his discussion with Captain Torres. The general's assessment matched her own classified evaluation point by point, creating an uncomfortable parallel that threatened her operational security if anyone noticed the connection. When Morrison criticized the rappelling safety systems that had failed during yesterday's incident, Maya instinctively stepped forward to provide detailed technical explanation about stress load calculations and backup system requirements. Her analysis demonstrated expertise that exceeded her apparent qualifications by significant margins. Morrison noticed Maya's specialized knowledge immediately, but maintained professional discretion while processing this unexpected development. "Young lady, your assessment of the anchor point failure shows familiarity with advanced engineering principles. What's your background in structural safety analysis?" Maya provided carefully prepared response that skirted direct deception while maintaining operational security. Previous assignments involved coordination between engineering and training facilities. Field experience teaches you to recognize critical failure patterns when lives depend on equipment reliability. Valdez witnessed this exchange with growing certainty that Maya's true identity differed dramatically from her cover story. Her immediate technical competence during equipment discussions revealed training that liaison personnel wouldn't receive through standard military education. Captain Torres received discreet inquiry from Morrison about Lieutenant Blackstone's actual assignment status. The general's questions carried weight that suggested official interest beyond casual curiosity, prompting Torres to review Maya's presence at the facility with new concern. Torres realized he knew less about Maya's true purpose than he had assumed. Her assignment orders had come through channels that typically handled classified operations, but he had processed them as routine personnel transfers without examining the authorization details carefully. Maya demonstrated advanced combat techniques during Morrison's surprise readiness drill, performing tactical movements that exceeded standard military training levels. Her immediate weapon handling and crisis response protocols revealed specialized instruction typical of elite military units. Computer technician Rodriguez discovered that Maya's system access logs showed classified database entries impossible for her stated rank and assignment. The automated logging captured her interactions with intelligence systems that required security clearances far above liaison personnel authority. Emergency sirens activated throughout the facility as perimeter security detected unauthorized reconnaissance activity near the classified training areas. The security breach occurred during Morrison's inspection visit, creating a high-stakes situation that demanded immediate tactical response. Maya instinctively took command of the emerging crisis situation, coordinating security responses with authority that cut through confusion and established clear chain of command. Her immediate assessment of threat parameters and resource deployment showed training in crisis management that exceeded her apparent qualifications. The emergency communication system activated Maya's secure SEAL channel automatically, broadcasting her actual call sign Neptune 7 to anyone monitoring military frequencies. The encrypted traffic revealed her true identity to personnel who recognized special operations communication protocols. Morrison observed Maya's tactical command performance with professional interest that confirmed his growing suspicions about her actual identity and assignment. Her coordination of multi-unit response demonstrated capabilities that matched classified personnel profiles he had reviewed before arriving at Fort Brazen. Maya directed complex security operation involving coordination between base security, military police, and specialized response teams. Her strategic planning integrated multiple units with efficiency that revealed advanced training in joint operations command and control procedures. Valdez overheard encrypted radio communication that identified Maya by her actual rank and SEAL designation, confirming his suspicions about her true status. Lieutenant Commander Blackstone, Neptune 7, requesting tactical assessment from all sector commanders. Execute Protocol 7 immediately. The hostile reconnaissance threat required Maya to coordinate directly with Pentagon Security Operations Center, revealing her classified communication access and authority to personnel who witnessed her interaction with highest levels of military command structure. Morrison privately questioned Torres about his knowledge of Maya's actual mission parameters, prompting Torres to realize that he had unknowingly hosted classified operations without receiving proper briefing about the assessment objectives or security requirements. Maya's response to the security breach demonstrated tactical expertise that exceeded standard officer training by substantial margins. Her immediate situational awareness and strategic decision-making revealed capabilities consistent with elite special operations background and advanced combat leadership experience. The threat assessment required Maya to implement security protocols that revealed her intimate familiarity with classified facility operations and defensive procedures. Personnel observed her directing activities that should have been beyond her apparent authority and knowledge level. Morrison coordinated with Maya's tactical response while confirming her identity through secure communication channels. Lieutenant Commander Maya Blackstone, Navy SEAL Team 6. Your assessment parameters include evaluation of facility response to security threats during inspection period. The emergency situation concluded with successful neutralization of reconnaissance threat through Maya's strategic coordination and multi-unit tactical response. Morrison formally acknowledged her classified assessment mission while maintaining operational security about specific objectives and intelligence requirements. Base personnel realized they had been interacting with one of the military's most elite operators, whose presence at Fort Brazen involved classified evaluation far beyond their understanding. Maya's cover operation had been blown by operational necessity, but her mission objectives remained intact. Torres learned that Maya outranked him by 2 levels and had been conducting classified assessment of his command performance throughout her assignment. The revelation prompted immediate review of facility operations and security procedures under heightened scrutiny. The perimeter alarm intensified as hostile reconnaissance activity escalated beyond initial detection, transforming what had begun as suspicious movement into confirmed security threat during the most critical inspection in Fort Brazen's recent history. Multiple contact points indicated coordinated surveillance of classified training areas, while General Morrison's inspection team remained on facility grounds. Maya's encrypted SEAL communication device activated with priority override signal that shattered her operational cover protocols. Neptune 7, immediate tactical assessment required. Hostile reconnaissance confirmed at sectors 4, 7, and 9. Pentagon authorization for full operational disclosure at your discretion. The message forced Maya to choose between maintaining mission security and responding to legitimate operational necessity that threatened facility safety and Morrison's inspection team. She acknowledged the communication while recognizing that her cover operation had reached its inevitable conclusion. Morrison approached Maya directly as facility security coordinators struggled to establish comprehensive threat assessment. Lieutenant Blackstone, your technical expertise has proven exceptional throughout this inspection. I need your frank tactical evaluation of our current security posture given these developing circumstances. Maya realized that operational necessity had superseded cover requirements, forcing her to reveal partial truth about her actual assignment. Sir, I'm conducting classified readiness evaluation for potential joint operations. My assessment indicates multiple vulnerabilities that could compromise facility security under current threat conditions. Valdez positioned himself where he could monitor radio communications while observing Maya's interaction with Morrison. The encrypted military frequencies suddenly carried traffic using call signs and protocols that confirmed his growing suspicions about Maya's true identity and mission. Neptune 7, confirmed tactical authority for multi-unit coordination. Pentagon Operations Center standing by for direct communication link. Authorization code Charlie 77 Alpha confirmed for Lieutenant Commander Blackstone, Navy SEAL Team 6 operational assessment. The radio transmission eliminated any remaining uncertainty about Maya's actual rank and assignment. Valdez witnessed the moment when operational security gave way to mission requirements, revealing that the woman they had known as a liaison officer commanded authority that exceeded most personnel at Fort Brazen. Computer systems throughout the facility automatically updated Maya's access permissions as Pentagon authorization activated her full security clearance. Terminals that had previously restricted her access suddenly displayed commander-level clearance indicators that confirmed her actual status within military hierarchy. Morrison convened immediate conference with his 3 accompanying generals while maintaining visual contact with Maya's coordination of security response. Gentlemen, Lieutenant Commander Maya Blackstone has been conducting classified assessment of this facility undercover assignment. Current threat situation requires full operational disclosure and tactical coordination. The revelation shifted Morrison's inspection from routine evaluation to active operational scenario, where Maya's assessment capabilities directly supported facility defense against hostile reconnaissance. Her classified mission had intersected with legitimate security threat in ways that demanded immediate tactical response. Maya received authorization to coordinate complex multi-unit operation involving Army Rangers, Marine reconnaissance teams, base security personnel, and specialized response units. Her strategic planning integrated diverse military assets with efficiency that demonstrated advanced training in Joint Operations Command. The tactical situation required Maya to establish direct communication with Pentagon Security Operations Center, revealing her classified access to highest levels of military command structure. Personnel observed her coordinating with defense officials whose authority exceeded facility leadership by substantial margins. Rangers received deployment orders through Maya's tactical command structure as she positioned specialized units at key defensive points around facility perimeter. Her strategic assessment integrated terrain analysis, threat evaluation, and resource deployment with precision that reflected elite military training. Marine reconnaissance teams moved to advanced positions under Maya's coordination, implementing surveillance protocols that complemented Army Ranger defensive positions. The joint operation demonstrated exactly the kind of multi-service coordination that her classified assessment was designed to evaluate. Valdez monitored encrypted communication channels as Maya coordinated directly with Pentagon officials whose clearance levels required special authorization even to acknowledge. Lieutenant Commander, Pentagon confirms hostile reconnaissance neutralized at 2 positions. Maintain tactical oversight until all-clear confirmation. Captain Torres received formal briefing from Morrison about Maya's actual rank and mission parameters, learning that he had unknowingly hosted classified operations while being assessed for facility readiness. Sir, Lieutenant Commander Blackstone has been evaluating our preparedness for joint special operations assignments. The revelation prompted Torres to review his interactions with Maya throughout her assignment, recognizing that her questions and observations had constituted comprehensive evaluation of his leadership capabilities and facility management effectiveness under operational conditions. Maya's tactical coordination resulted in successful identification and neutralization of hostile reconnaissance through strategic deployment of multiple military units working in seamless coordination. The operation demonstrated exactly the kind of joint service cooperation that her assessment was designed to evaluate. Security specialists confirmed elimination of surveillance threats through tactical operation that had required integration of Army, Marine, Navy, and facility security resources. Maya's strategic planning had successfully protected Morrison's inspection team while gathering definitive intelligence about facility operational capabilities. Morrison formally acknowledged Maya's cover operation while maintaining operational security about specific assessment objectives. Lieutenant Commander Blackstone's evaluation has provided valuable insights about facility readiness for classified joint operations assignments under consideration by Pentagon leadership. Base personnel throughout Fort Brazen realized they had been interacting with one of the military's most elite operators, whose presence at their facility involved classified evaluation far beyond their understanding or security clearance levels. Maya's exceptional competence during routine interactions now made complete sense. The successful tactical operation provided Maya with definitive evidence about facility capabilities under actual operational stress, completing her assessment objectives through real-world demonstration rather than theoretical evaluation. Her mission had achieved optimal results through unexpected circumstances. Maya's communication with Pentagon Operations Center shifted to mission completion protocols as threat assessment concluded successfully. Neptune 7, Tactical Assessment complete. Facility demonstrates acceptable readiness for joint special operations assignments with recommended infrastructure improvements detailed in classified report. Staff Sergeant Valdez approached Maya after the tactical operation concluded, his expression reflecting new understanding of her actual identity and capabilities. "Ma'am, I owe you an apology for my casual assumptions about your background and assignment. Your performance today explained everything that seemed inconsistent about your presence here." Maya accepted his acknowledgement with professional courtesy while maintaining operational security about classified mission details. "Sergeant Valdez, your observations and questions actually contributed to my assessment of facility security awareness and personnel vigilance. Your instincts serve you well." Torres coordinated with Morrison to review immediate implications of Maya's assessment for facility operations and personnel assignments. The successful tactical response had demonstrated strengths and revealed areas requiring improvement for future joint operations readiness. Morrison prepared to depart Fort Brazen with comprehensive intelligence about facility capabilities gathered through Maya's covert assessment and confirmed through actual operational performance under hostile threat conditions. "Lieutenant Commander, your assessment methodology has provided exceptional insight for Pentagon planning requirements." Maya's mission parameters shifted from covert evaluation to preparation for departure as her cover operation concluded successfully despite early exposure. Her assessment had achieved all objectives while demonstrating facility readiness under actual operational stress rather than simulated conditions. The revelation of Maya's true identity prompted immediate security review to ensure that her presence and assessment activities remained classified appropriately. Personnel who had interacted with her received briefing about maintaining operational security regarding her actual mission and capabilities. Maya prepared classified assessment report documenting facility strengths, infrastructure requirements, and personnel readiness for joint special operations assignments. Her evaluation would influence Pentagon decisions about resource allocation and strategic planning for classified military operations requiring multi-service coordination. General Morrison convened facility leadership in the secure conference room, where Maya's comprehensive assessment would reshape Fort Brazen's future and influence Pentagon strategic planning for joint operations across multiple military branches. The morning light streamed through reinforced windows as classified documents spread across the polished table. Maya presented her detailed findings with professional precision that reflected weeks of careful observation and analysis. The facility demonstrates significant potential for joint special operations training, but requires immediate attention to 15 critical vulnerabilities that could compromise mission success and personnel safety. Her assessment documented inadequate safety protocols in rappelling systems, communication gaps between military branches during coordinated exercises, insufficient security measures for classified training areas, and maintenance deficiencies that had escaped routine inspections but could prove catastrophic under operational stress. Morrison reviewed Maya's recommendations with growing appreciation for the thoroughness of her evaluation. "Lieutenant Commander, your assessment provides exactly the intelligence we need for Pentagon resource allocation decisions. These findings will influence facility upgrades and training protocol development across multiple installations." Captain Torres received formal documentation of his performance evaluation, which included both criticism for security oversight and commendation for professional cooperation during classified operations. "Torres, your facility management shows competence, but security awareness requires immediate improvement. Your cooperation with classified assessment demonstrates leadership potential that merits recognition." The mixed evaluation reflected Maya's objective analysis of Torres's capabilities and limitations. His facility management had been adequate but not exceptional, while his willingness to learn and adapt during challenging circumstances suggested potential for improvement with proper guidance and resources. Staff Sergeant Valdez learned that Maya had specifically noted his tactical awareness and leadership instincts in her personnel evaluations. Morrison announced that Valdez would receive immediate promotion to Staff Sergeant based on recommendations that cited his observation skills and professional curiosity as assets for advanced training assignments. Maya's assessment had identified Valdez as personnel with potential for specialized training and leadership development. His questions about her background had demonstrated exactly the kind of security awareness and analytical thinking that qualified soldiers for advanced assignments requiring discretion and intelligence. New security protocols took effect immediately based on Maya's recommendations, transforming Fort Brazen's operational procedures to address the vulnerabilities she had identified. The upgrades included enhanced perimeter surveillance, improved communication systems, and revised safety standards that exceeded minimum military requirements. Personnel received comprehensive briefing about operational security requirements and need-to-know protocols that would protect classified activities while maintaining training effectiveness. The education emphasized professional discretion and security awareness as essential components of modern military operations. Morrison announced that Fort Brazen had been selected for designation as Advanced Joint Operations Training Center based on Maya's assessment of facility potential and strategic location. The designation would bring significant resources and prestige while establishing new standards for multi-service coordination training. Maya received authorization for her next assignment, designing and implementing enhanced training protocols for military integration that would be tested at Fort Brazen before deployment to installations worldwide. Her assessment methodology had proven so effective that Pentagon leadership wanted her expertise applied across multiple facilities. The new assignment represented recognition of Maya's unique capabilities in evaluating and improving joint operations readiness. Her successful completion of the Fort Brazen assessment under challenging circumstances had established her reputation as exceptional evaluator of military preparedness and training effectiveness. Valdez approached Maya during the transition briefing to express his appreciation for her professional acknowledgement of his potential. "Ma'am, I wanted to thank you for recognizing qualities I wasn't sure anyone had noticed. Your assessment has opened opportunities one never expected to receive." Maya responded with professional warmth that reflected genuine respect for his observation skills and dedication. "Sergeant Valdez, your questions and curiosity demonstrated exactly the kind of professional awareness we need in modern military operations. Your promotion reflects capabilities that serve both you and the military well." Torres implemented comprehensive facility upgrades using resources allocated based on Maya's assessment recommendations. The improvements included state-of-the-art communication systems, enhanced safety equipment, and specialized training facilities designed to support joint operations between multiple military branches. The facility transformation proceeded rapidly as Pentagon priority funding supported upgrades that would establish Fort Brazen as model installation for joint operations training. Maya's assessment had identified not only problems, but also solutions that could be implemented effectively with proper resources and leadership commitment. Maya concluded her classified mission at Fort Brazen with complete success in all assessment objectives. Her evaluation had provided Pentagon leadership with definitive intelligence about facility capabilities while identifying improvements necessary for supporting advanced joint operations training programs. The assessment methodology that Maya had developed during her Fort Brazen assignment would be refined and applied to military installations worldwide, establishing new standards for evaluating readiness and identifying improvement opportunities in joint operations capabilities. 6 months after Maya's departure, Fort Brazen received the Department of Defense Excellence Award for Operational Readiness and Training Innovation. The recognition cited exceptional improvement in safety standards, communication protocols, and multi-service coordination that had transformed the facility into a premier training installation. Morrison's follow-up evaluation confirmed that Maya's recommendations had been implemented successfully, resulting in measurably improved performance across all assessment categories. The facility now served as model for joint operations training that other installations studied and emulated. Torres had evolved into exceptional facility commander through implementation of Maya's recommendations and ongoing professional development. His leadership now reflected the potential that Maya had identified during her assessment, demonstrating how proper guidance and resources could develop capable military leaders. Valdez completed advanced leadership training and received assignment to specialized unit that utilized his analytical skills and security awareness. His career trajectory exemplified how Maya's personnel evaluations had identified and developed talent that might otherwise have remained unrecognized. Maya's assessment model was adopted Pentagon-wide for evaluating joint operation capabilities at military installations requiring readiness certification. Her methodology balanced covert evaluation with operational testing that provided comprehensive intelligence about facility capabilities under realistic conditions. The Fort Brazen model influenced military training protocols across multiple branches, establishing new standards for safety, communication, and coordination that improved operational readiness while reducing training accidents and equipment failures. Maya arrived at her next assignment carrying refined assessment techniques learned through her Fort Brazen experience. The lessons from maintaining operational cover while conducting comprehensive evaluation would inform her approach to future missions requiring similar discretion and analytical precision. Her reputation for exceptional assessment capabilities had established her as primary evaluator for classified military installations requiring certification for special operations support. Maya's unique combination of elite operational experience and analytical expertise made her invaluable for missions requiring both tactical competence and strategic evaluation. The success of Maya's Fort Brazen assessment demonstrated the effectiveness of covert evaluation methodology in gathering intelligence about military readiness while maintaining operational security. Her approach had revolutionized how Pentagon leadership assessed facility capabilities for supporting classified operations. Fort Brazen continued operating as premier joint training facility, its transformation from adequate installation to excellence exemplars serving as testament to the value of thorough assessment and strategic improvement implementation. Maya's evaluation had identified potential and provided roadmap for achieving exceptional operational readiness. Personnel throughout the military community recognized Fort Brazen as model installation where professional development, operational excellence, and safety standards converged to create optimal training environment. The facility's reputation attracted top personnel and cutting-edge resources that sustained its position as leader in joint operations training. Maya's assessment legacy extended far beyond Fort Brazen as her methodology influenced military evaluation protocols worldwide, establishing new standards for identifying improvement opportunities while maintaining operational security essential for protecting classified military activities and personnel.